All right, so I'm just curious to know, Alex, for leaders that already hire consultants today, will they always need consultants at some point? Like, what is uniquely human that consultants still can contribute that AI can handle, maybe the more technical or advisory task?
No, for sure, Joe. A consultancy doesn't go completely away. I mean, I'm not suggesting that it's going to eliminate and wipe it off, because the consultants, it's contract killers, right? So you need to have a percentage of people that highly motivated and skilled to deliver more, maybe a little bit higher paid, right? But with the lesser benefits, let's say. So strategically, consultants always been onboarded by enterprises for few main reasons. One reason, that they possess better experience because they cost more. And the second reason, it's easier to downside with having the percentage of the workforce that's independent, because it's easier to eliminate it if the economy goes down. Makes sense for the any disruption that what we're facing with AI, for example. So in the way I see it with my experience in the services in general, the consultancy gonna remain about 30% of what it is right now. It's gonna be highly trained and experienced individuals that gonna be continue driving the processes and augmenting the workforce and organization, but their mission will be shifted, escalated, because everything will be escalated. AI fulfills the need for a lower and mid-size engineering. Make sense? So you're looking for leadership engineers right now. Consultants definitely, architectural, senior leader roles remains in the industry. Make sense? But let's say instead of having 100 people shuffling the web driver low-level coding, you're going to have maybe a few automation professionals that will be guiding your clients through the process with the AI-infused tools, and making sure on the instructor level that no mistake been made before the execution, or if the new functionality or new processes taking place, they be able to guide their customers and clients how to do it right, something like that.
I couldn't agree more, but I also am kind of wanting to solicit your thoughts on this too. I think one thing that is going to become abundantly clear out of this, again, from a transparency perspective, but the actual ability of somebody and the ability to be entrepreneurial in this, I think it really is one of those things where when we question objective value from a project and everything, I think that this is a leveling of the playing field for a lot of individual or small consulting firms out there also to shine in this, and to be able to say that we can prove our work. And we only take on these projects. This is how much we can consume. This is how much we're going to commit. And this is how much we're going to do. I think they're going to know how much they can do that too. Just, as a caveat going on in the background. But then going forward, I think it's going to have a real proof point and a documentation in this, that here's where a company was and we've got a tangible result, because we can show this, and it's going to be easier to collect all those key points of data and put them into some sort of a dashboard that's valuable and everything. And these could be dashboard consulting projects. But I think that the more I see, and in my day-to-day and everything, you're getting a lot closer to a pure set of truth and data with this too, in all levels. So I think it raises the expectations and it improves the value that you're getting, but also inspires everybody to be very honed with their skills so they can take on projects that they want to do and can do, and they can do well, versus trying to be a jack of all trades, maybe if they don't really want to do that. I mean, it's going to balance itself is what I'm saying. It's going to be very obvious how that is. And that might be controversial, but I think there's a lot of change that we're going through, and the changing in jobs is probably going to be people getting into things that they really wanted to do in the first place, from a tech perspective. Maybe they really just always wanted to do architecture and they got stuck in databases or security or something, they go back to that. Who knows? Development too, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I think what we're also seeing, because this field is changing daily, it is changing constantly. What we're seeing today is going to be totally different 6 months from now. because what I'm seeing, even with a lot of the, other vendors, right? Everyone's pushing, agentic AI. Well, I would say it's agentic adjacent, if that's a term, right? Because you haven't quite reached that level of agentic AI for testing, right? There's certain things that we're doing that we're kicking off, but it's not maintaining everything that we're doing. And I think what we're seeing now is we have to separate the hype from the reality because we're seeing the evolution. Like, for example, if you start looking at a lot of the MCPs that are coming out for Selenium, for Playwright, those are really good, especially the ones I've seen for Playwright. They are doing, but they still require a certain level of manual intervention because it's not perfected yet, but they work extremely well. So what we have to do is, as we look at how this industry is growing and how it's changing, we have to really dig deep into how is machine learning and AI being used with a lot of these technologies? How much of it is generative versus agentic, right? How deep do we get into context engineering as a field? And how does that overlap with what we're doing with test automation versus software development? And eventually, how will these tools integrate directly with these various frameworks and how companies are building their applications? Because a lot of these applications are being built using code generated from AI. Especially, I'm seeing a lot of external uses for Claude Code other than coding. So people are using them to actually do agentic tasks. So we're seeing this, the way that the tools are being used, how they're evolving. And I think in terms of, like you said, you're going to see these entrepreneurial type companies, right? The smaller companies that can go in and really go in and make, significant changes to how software testing and software development is being done.
That's where ZAPTEST comes in, an AI-powered test automation platform that lets you automate 100% of your testing without writing code. From AI-driven record and playback reinvented to full cross-platform support, ZAPTEST transforms how QA and DevOps teams work and grow. And soon we'll be hosting exclusive events to explore how AI is changing the game. ZAPTEST. Automate smarter. Future-proof your role. Clint, I agree. I mean, I'm a hybrid between two of you, right? So I started as an advanced consulting company. We evolved to be an advanced product company. And I can tell you that guy that used to make a revenue from one line of business and to switch to another one. Consulting rise when the tool failed to deliver. Managers hire consultants when the tool that they purchased for their team failed to deliver the promise. Make sense? And the poorly implemented and delivered tools drive to the higher volume of consultancy to fulfill the process.
Mm-hmm.
Make sense? If you have a well-delivered, smart tools, you don't need consultant in numbers. Make sense?
Yeah. You remember Clip, Alex, when we at Seamless, we first started talking about Clip and everything and closed loop incident processing. And then everybody else started using that term too. But I'm going to toss it out there that's one of the apex levels of automation from a ITOM perspective, not in DevOps. And I don't know what that holy grail is as it is over in testing, but I'm guessing there's a term that I am forgetting and I just can't remember it. But there's that same type of thing where you get a level of elegance out of solving one particular type of thing. But the limitation was always that you solve that one thing because you're responding to varieties and vectors on a particular variable, but you're still that one thing. And you can explore some things, but it's limited. I think when people realize we were already there. So a lot of things that are being discovered are things that were already possible with automation. You know what I mean? So I think when we really start to push the envelope into what's truly achievable with AI that goes and shows demonstrably what's evolutionary more powerful than what you can achieve with something like Clip, which was amazing. A lot of customers thought so too. The thing is here, we haven't even touched it yet. I mean, the best that we can really see overt real creations would be like what you see with maybe VO or something, and reproducing a scratch video or telling a story or whatever. I'm a musician myself, so I'm going to not get into the music part, not generating that. But when it applies to this in software development, I think back to the human aspect of this, I still think we as humans are all going to have our influence in this because we're unique in our ability to make tangential leaps in logic.
Well, you mentioned HR, and the first thing that came to my mind was the whole Workday scandal.
I knew you'd come up with an example.
I don't know if you guys are familiar with. Yeah. So that's the one that popped up for me. It's like, I think you can kind of, I think I always forget there's a skiing term. I don't ski, but when you, was it overextend
don't get up over your tips.
Or whatever you do on your, yeah, exactly. And I think that's what happened probably with Workday, with their over reliance on AI to really screen the resumes, right? So you have to make sure, like you said, the old computer phrase, garbage in, garbage out, right? So if you don't do it correctly, then you're going to end up causing more problems it's going to cost your company its reputation. And I think that's the big thing. We're going to see this in the testing industry as well, right? We're going to see a lot of these companies that are pushing AI first solutions or trying to reimagine their solutions with AI on top of it. You're going to see a lot of them fail. And there's going to be a customer out there that's going to end up having some serious ramifications of using one of these commercial tools out there that's going to really affect how they do test automation. It can do something to damage their business or a level of productivity. But I think if you look at how various companies, you look at how Alex has built ZAPTEST and how he's doing it because of his thought process. You're talking about a guy that built it from the ground up, boots on the ground, that understands the industry. What you're seeing in a lot of these other commercial tools, they're being run by people that don't understand the industry. They don't have they have a high level view of it. They've run companies. So their goal is to, every goal of a company is to make money. But and that's one of the problems that I've seen in this industry working for various companies, especially various tools companies, is that they are run by people who don't understand the role of the tester. They don't understand the role of the developer. They don't understand. All they look at is, wow, this is cool. How can we make more money and how can we market it in a way that's going to make more money? And those that don't understand it are going to be the ones that are going to fall by the wayside. The ones that have leadership that truly understand, like Alex, who understands what's going on, that's going to be the biggest difference. And so being on the marketing side of these companies, I've seen it. I've had to push out the messaging, right? You go to a Star East or a Star West, you go to every single booth, all the marketing is going to look alike, right? Everything's going to be the same. Everybody's saying, this, that, and the other thing, but it's all the same. So I think what's going to happen is you're going to see a huge paradigm shift, and the ones that are going to rise to the top are the ones that really understand the industry and the ones that have have skin in the game in terms of understanding how test automation should be done.
You're absolutely right, Clint. AI going to make a world an honest place. And I'll tell you how. With the agility of decision making, there will be lesser room for bullshit, to be honest with you. Excuse my friend, right? So we spend our 20, 30 years of our careers in the corporate tsunami of bullshit. Makes sense? You have a marketing budget. You hire people that want to please board of directors. They sing in the tunes. I mean, they cared for their year, 2, 3 years of them being in this position, collecting their paychecks. Make sense? How the market gonna unveil, it's a secondary story. But I'm always saying, because I'm the guy that bootstrapped all my career, I always cliffhanger, if you will, right? So I waiting every move I'll make technology-wise, business-wise, because I have a lot of things, depending on these decisions and the sustainability of these factors, right? So we're going to be absolutely that right that we're making the right move. So today, with the speed of agility of decision making and less room for mistakes, the solution that really mean it and make a difference is going to prevail. And it's not necessarily tools. It's maybe tools and services, maybe combination of both, right? But something that works and works right now, right here. Make sense? That's what I see. And AI going to help to drive this motion in even more so.